Hi guys, hope you all are doing well and had a good day in the market. We start with the disclaimer as always, right? Anything and everything that will be shared in here is purely for educational purposes only, and this by no means directly or indirectly recommends any trades that you might want to take, right? Excellent. So, with that said, what did we analyze on the Friday, right? That was the weekend analysis. So if you're here for the first time and or have not watched the weekend analysis, it is absolutely mandatory for you to go and watch it because I think a lot of information was shared and this will set the stage for you to understand and be in sync with today's analysis, right? So this was the possibility, one of the possibilities that we said this could be 3, 4 and 5, but Nifty, what it did was it ended up breaking, this wedge, and it gave us an opportunity to tweak that wedge to some extent, right? Which is instead of we having it in here, this was the wedge that we were expecting. Arey yaar, why is it not? I'm having challenges with my mouse today, right? So this was the wedge that we expected or anticipated, but the markets opened in this, it was more muted and then gave that strong green candle, right? So this gives us an opportunity to, let me try the external mouse that is was having problems today, right? And it gave us the opportunity to tweak this, right, and make the wedge like this, and it broke out lethargically, right? So with that said, now let's take a step back and relook at the possibilities for tomorrow, right? And we start with the daily. Solid, green candle, right? But hey, too early to celebrate, right? Because if you look at the volumes in here, hardly any volumes, and this was primarily because of FIIs, not working today. It's Labor Day in the US, so they're not around, and tomorrow is expiry, right? And we typically say a good volume always, helps with that conviction of the direction, and this is not the trend as yet, right? Because if you recall what we discussed during the weekend, the trend is sell on rise. While the day candle has turned bullish, right? It has done higher high and higher low and a very good close, right? But the volumes are not very supportive, as yet, right? So on the day time frame, the price has turned bullish, right? And the market grinded, right, and it basically gave one opportunity. Do comment how many of you took this breakout trade. I think whole day the premium hardly moved, right? I was expecting a much faster move in here, but for 75 points move on the September monthly expiry, I don't even recall. I think it moved 40 points all day, right? And when things move slow, it makes you nervous, right? Should you be holding that trade, and if so, trade less sell, blah blah, right? Not a very fully convincing market as yet, right? So with that said, day is bullish, weekly it's too early. On the hourly, you see that we had a very strong candle at 12:15, and then the width of the body of the candle is slowly reducing. And if I look at even at 75 minutes, the similar story, right? Similar it is on the 45 minutes as well. So that's the situation. And with Nifty, right, on price, let's look at options data, and then we'll jump into Elliott wave at the end and to see what we would look at. Now on the price, there's one thing that I wanted to share, right? So if you look at the close, it has closed above the previous day's high, right? And if this has to sustain purely based on price, a retest is absolutely mandatory. Market does not go in one single direction. So this is a possibility. If it comes and kisses it down, I would be looking to go long. But hey, the market personality has changed significantly, right? You never know if this is going to get to do a retest or it is going to go down south. We don't know. So this is an area. 24,574 is going to be very very important for me tomorrow, right? If it is going to sustain or if it is going to break down. If it breaks down, we know what's the story, right? This is going to be liquidity, candle that grabbed all the bulls. Not sure how many of you've carried longs, but I'm not in that gang, right? So this is one thing that is absolutely needed, and 24,574 is going to be very, very important, right? So now moving on to options data, look at that put writing. Crazy, 7 crores of put writing, and tomorrow is expiry, and 28 lakh call unwinding. So this is more weak hands stepping out. 3 hours, 2 hours, 1 hour. So nothing significant from an opening standpoint, no aggressive positions as yet. But if we look at the overall open interest, we're talking about 24,600 is support, and then we've got a good amount of call writing in here, right? This is a weak hand, 24,600, 650, 700. So there are an army of people, right? And then the biggest resistance is 25,000, which is a Bahubali, right? So tomorrow's opening is going to be very, very important, and it's getting tougher, right? And given the meeting between Modi, Putin, and Jinping, um, not sure what Doland is going to come up with later this evening to make a big announcement, and see how things evolve, right? For sure, he's more stressed than ever before, seeing the Russia, China, and India meeting up and building things up here in Asia, right? So price is day is bullish, right? Cautiously bullish. Options data is more neutral, right? Because this I would consider it more neutral because there's no significant strength for resistance, definitely for support. So I think we'll have to toss it up and give it to the opening tomorrow, right? Depending on where it opens. And then looking at Elliott wave, this is where things are getting even more interesting, right? Because one is there are two possibilities that we looked at, right? So one was this, which continues to be open. One, two, we said this could be three, four, and five as on yesterday. And the other possibility we had was, let's look at the projection in here. This is what the trick is all about, right? So this could be three, or I wouldn't mind keeping this as three because now three has clear five wave. Of course, one is not the longest, three is the longest, three continues to be the longest. Let's figure that out, right? You see that 161 percentage and five. So this now has an internal five wave structure, right? So if I move this into primary and then look at a smaller wave in here, one, two, three, four, and five, right? This is going to be a lower degree. Pay attention, students, right? And then this becomes five, right? So if this is the scenario, right, three, four, five, that's one possibility. We are clearly giving a corrective bounce in here, right, which would uh, look like this being an ABC, right? This being an A, B, and C, right? And A is an impulsive, B is an impulsive, so this becomes a 535, right? I was at some point looking at two things. One could be possibly form a triangle in here. That was one of the possibilities that were open, and this is exactly where I went long in this green candle with this as an SL, and grinding markets. This is one possibility. The other possibility is, can this be a wave one, right? And then this is let me use the text. This is wave one, right? This is wave two, B or two, and if this is wave one of two, and then tomorrow we do wave two all day in the expiry. So that's a possibility that is pretty much open, right? So if I were to sum it up, I don't think I'm one extremely bullish as yet, right? Even if it is bullish, I think we definitely need a dip to the level that we looked at on previous day high. That's one. Options data looks more neutral. We may see some volatility tomorrow. And number three, see what Trump tweets and how the global markets react today. But the possibility of a sideways market and or a dip in here is something that I would absolutely continue to watch. Will I sell options? The answer is big no, right? Because the risk that you're taking for the reward is suicidal. So I will not sell options. Will I buy options? Yes, I will be looking at maybe September month, strikes. It would be nice if the market does a gap down, right? Because this is clearly looks like a wedge, and even if I add the RSI to it, my mouse is not in a great shape today, right? There's a bit of divergence in here, right? So I'm expecting a possible gap down, and see how the market evolves from there, right? Is this an ABC of this entire wave 5? Possible, right? Maybe I'm looking at we may have to change it. Pay attention, right? Because this is very interesting. Is this a 3 4 and 5, as a wedge? This becomes 3. Quite a lot of possibilities are opening up. So if I delete all these numbers, right, and if I look at it in like this, 1 2 3 4 and 5 in here, 5 is not convincingly an ending diagonal. Let's say, for example, 3 is here and 5 is here. We've had an ABC getting over in here, right? Imagine if this ABC is wave 2 of this. It's going to be dangerous, right? With a shallow retracement, we're going to do a massive gap down, right? The other possibility that I looked at was what if this is wave 3 in here and we are forming wave 4, right? This entire stretch is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've had a retracement of 38% from this top of wave 2, right? So this is a possibility that I'm definitely keeping it open, right? So in the event of going bearish, the odds of being right is higher, right? So I'm continuing to be bearish, and I wouldn't be surprised if the market does a gap down, right? So that's a risk that anyone has to take. So that's my view, guys, and that is all I had. Bank Nifty, I didn't look at it at all today. Let's see how the Bank Nifty is looking at, right? No different than to in Nifty, right? This is clearly a bullish price action, right? On the hourly, Bank Nifty now looks more bullish. And let's add the RSI into it and see what happens. Not even weak. Bank Nifty seems to be stronger than Nifty. That's interesting. And 54,000 is the support, right? 54,000 is Bank Nifty. Was I looking at? There you go, right? 54,000 is the support, which is where the markets have closed, and so it is on the resistance standpoint also. Looking at change in OI, 54,000 is the support, right? So tomorrow's opening is going to be very, very interesting. Once again, low volumes because of FIIs not working today. So there's nothing really that can be concluded because one of the bigger variables is missing today. So guys, that is all I had. Do hit the like button, comment your views. Happy to learn from you, and see you all tomorrow. Cheers, bye now.